After such an interesting discussion and taking the words of the minister about collaboration and bidirectionality, the second panel will be about the cyber bridge that is being constructed between the ecosystem of the US and the ecosystem of the Basque country in cyber. This bridge was firstly established in the late 90s by Panda Security, one of the companies you will find here today. And following the trail blazed by Panda almost 20 years ago, there are some other companies that are putting a footprint in the US. Today, we will have here Toby from Basque Networks, which is an American company targeting Europe as a market, and that are planning to establish their subsidiary in the Basque country. They are very, very focused on ICS, cyber for ICS. We will also have Dan. Dan is a British man, an entrepreneur, who decided to establish his company, his business, in the Basque country. And now, very recently, they have been awarded their first contracts in the US. And third, in this panel, we will have Roberto. Roberto is a Basque entrepreneur, a person who decided to build a business in the place he was born. So finally, the panel will be conducted by Gorka Sadowski, who has Basque ancestors. So he knows very well our culture and our society. And additionally, Gorka holds the position in Gartner Research as a senior director analyst in security infrastructure protection for IT leaders. Gorka has been over 20 years working in solving technology and cybersecurity problems for organizations of all sizes, both in the US and in Europe. So Gorka, please, the floor is yours.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I have more than Basque ancestors. I'm Basque myself. I was born in Basque country and I grew up in Basque country, so I like to think that I'm Basque. Great to see so many of you out there. Before we start on this awesome panel, I just want to have you guys notice how awesome weather it is outside. If you like that weather, Basque is the same, okay? It rains much more, right? So everything is green, like Chernobyl green. It glows in the dark, but it's a very similar weather. So anyways, we're not here to talk about weather. We're here to welcome our awesome panelists. Dan, Toby, and Roberto, could you guys please come in here? So before we start, we heard from Javier that you guys have awesome companies doing wonderful things. Well, let's start with you, Toby. What is so wonderful that you guys are doing?
So, yeah, I think we'll use yours. So, good morning, everyone. Thanks, nice to see you all. Basque Networks provides endpoint protection for industrial assets. Filter the activity such that going forward, it can't change other than from an authorized source with an authorized intention. And there are various different specific products that do this in different use cases within these industrial environments. But ultimately, we position ourselves as a last line of defense to ensure that the plant keeps running the way it did yesterday and the way that its operators want it to work. So that's what Basque does.
Sounds very cool. Dan, what do you guys do for a living?
Hi, everybody. My name is Dan. One of the founders of Countercraft, and thanks, Gorka. So we use deception techniques to generate threat intelligence. Okay, so that means we deploy fake bits of IT, in some cases fake IoT, and we gather intel from that. Now, uniquely, we deploy this stuff not only inside traditional networks and organizational boundaries, but also outside on the internet, okay, to gather what kind of attacks are coming into an organization. Through the Basque government, we worked with the world's biggest steel manufacturer to apply these deception techniques to an IoT and industrial setting, and they worked really well. So we were protecting blast furnaces, and we were very proud to do that, okay? So that's Countercraft. If you want to know more, well, talk to me later. I'm going to hand you on now to
Roberto, please.
Roberto.
Hi, good morning. We are HDIV Security. We are a company focused on software security. Probably most of you, you are developing software, you are developing some kind of application. You know that it's very complicated to create really secure applications, okay? I'm very surprised because many of the companies that we are seeing in the market, they are not actually using some kind of security product that helps them to detect their security bugs during the development, okay? So we have one product focused in that area that helps people solving those issues during the development, okay? In addition to that, unfortunately for us, there are other kind of issues that are not possible to detect by tools, right? So in that sense, we protect from those issues in production. So actually, we are automating a process that is not automated by the process, okay? That's why one of the first customers was in the US, one huge bank here in San Francisco. So basically, because we are solving a problem that is not solved by the state of the art.
So then, what I understand is that you have solutions that are structural solutions. So for any enterprise that is writing code and is doing a code application, you have solution that makes sure that that code is secure, right? And then we have also a deception company that fools attackers into believing that they are attacking something else, and the organization can use your tools to generate threat intelligence and understanding and about an attack and be able to help. And you also seem to have very, very powerful ICS and IoT capabilities in your in your solution. So maybe a question back to, you know, you mentioned that you want to go to Basque country, that you know, you're interested in Basque country. Obviously, you're very successful. You can go anywhere you want. You can decide to go anywhere you want. I think I read this morning another press release of a great thing you guys have achieved. You choose. Why did you choose Basque country?
The simple reason is through our engineering director in Europe, David, who's sitting over there. He and I have worked together for 7 years now, based in Madrid, and it's been a tremendously successful collaboration. We've been delighted with the quality of the engineering talent and the accessibility, both for the East Coast US-based teams in terms of the time change, and secondly, with the ability to use Spain as a leverage point to get into the rest of European market. So it's been an existing working relationship that's been very successful for us. And the only obvious thing is to expand it. And the Basque Country and the government options that are available there and the support for Cybersecurity Center in particular make it a very obvious and compelling place to expand our footprint within our European presence, while preserving obviously the quality of life for our staff and their ability to have a good situation on the home front and good professional opportunities as they work in the industry.
A question to you then. You are British, and once again you decided to go to Basque Country and do something, create something in Basque Country. Probably you could have done anywhere. Why did you choose Basque Country? Why was Basque Country so important to your success?
It's a very good question. Okay, so I think the easiest way to look at this is it's about love, okay? In many ways. So you've got to love the Basque culture and the Basque people. And I've been told many times that when a Basque person gives you their word, it really means something. And I can say that's true. So you're dealing with the people that are serious, they work hard, and they get things done. Now that culture permeates everything. I love that. People generally love living in the Basque country. There's a very high standard of life, great quality of food. So we have a fantastic development team that is very happy working in the Basque Country, and that's a huge asset to our organization. So these kind of things, I think they're important. It's like what you're saying, you know? And I personally love the focus of the Basque government now on cybersecurity. There's been a natural bubble of talented people, starting with Panda and their kernel experts, and that's grown up over 20 years, and now the government is seeing that, harnessing it, not forcing it, but kind of coaxing it forward. So in that way, there's a multiple rings of love around cybersecurity, the Basque Country, and that's why I chose to stay there.
Wow, I want to go back. When I hear that, I want to go back. That was great. That's awesome. Roberto, you told me earlier that today you have 30 people in your enterprise. But first off, congratulations. Great growth, great success. You're not British. You maybe. Why? How did Basque culture, environment, ecosystem, how did that help you get to where you are today?
Yeah, in my case, it's easiest to decide the Basque Country because I was born in the Basque Country. But I will say that the ecosystem that I found when I started my career in the Basque Country was great in cybersecurity. We mentioned Panda, that was one of the first companies in cybersecurity in the Basque Country. I would like to mention as well S21sec when I started my career in that time as well. So I think that I love to talk about companies. I think that companies create new companies. So that's the reason that we are here, actually. I think most of our companies come from these original companies. So the ecosystem, the industrial companies related to cybersecurity, creating products, it's great in the Basque Country. And in addition, I think that education in the Basque Country is great as well, and we have software developers, software engineers available. So I think it's a good ecosystem. Unfortunately, in some years, we will have many companies in the cybersecurity area.
So let me recap this. Great weather, great food, great people, hardworking people. Man, it sounds really cool. No, but I mean, you mentioned the availability of skill set, and there are places in the world where there are very good skill set that are very, very cheap. And then the question is, well, there you go. That's the answer. Let's just have country X or geo Y do the development for us. Things are not that simple. There's a lot of trust issues. There's a lot of things that make that seem to make Basque Country a great place for bang for your buck, essentially for that. So what are you trying to achieve? What success is declared when you are okay. So you're going to Basque, and then you are going to achieve what? What are you going to try to achieve in your adventures in Basque Country?
Well, I think you touched on it. There's a certain value in having the continuity of the performance of the team, and the fact that the team is stable and we're not forever swapping people in and out. That gives us the ability to plan and to have the entire team invested in the plan. And in the security situation where we're creating products for for problem areas that previously were unaddressed, everyone ultimately has a stake of ownership in validating that this is a problem worth solving. And that brings with it an extra level of commitment, an extra level of engagement from the team to make the products that much better, to anticipate that much more about how the customer might want to use the product. And I need a high level of professionalism to do that. And I can't get that just with a generic contract outsourced development team. I need to get it with people who are proud and involved and engaged in the mission. And we've seen that over my working experience with David and his team in Madrid. See that it's only going to improve as our investment in the Basque Country increases through the course of this year. So we're excited. We feel it's a group of equals, a group of peers who are certainly technically just as capable as any other team we might find. but they, as we heard from Dan, we have this sort of intangible set of additional benefits from the team, which we believe are tremendously valuable and worth supporting.
Thank you. Thank you. So then, on the other hand, you are based in Basque Country. You signed a first contract in the US, I understand. Congratulations on that. What's next? What are you trying to do? What are your plans here in the US? How do you see your adventures moving forward over the next couple of years?
Okay, so we see the US as a huge potential. And you talk about the bridge between the Basque Country and the US, so I guess we're reaching out now, across the Atlantic. We want to touch down in the US, set up a small company here. Initially, that will be under the Basque company. Just like to point that out there. And then have initial employees service our current clients and expand from that. So we're hoping to move from our current revenue in the US to improved up to about $10 million over the next 2 years. That's an ambitious task, but we hope we can do that. And any help along the way from institutions like the Basque government or the US government to help us touch down is really greatly received. So, thanks to that on both sides here.
And by the way, at the same time that these companies are explaining you how great they are, how great Basque Country is, all of them are looking for clients, partners, ecosystem, anything you can do. If you like the story, if you want to hear more about any of the things they're saying, I would really encourage you to have a chat and a follow-up conversation with them. Roberto, you Basque, come, the US, tell us the story about, and for the record, I think the microphone is not working too well, because earlier I think I heard the cyber breach between Basque and US, and I think it's a microphone issue. It was the cyber bridge, okay? Just for the record. We're not talking about the cyber breach, but the cyber bridge. Roberto, what?
Yeah. Our bridging to the US started very early in our company. Actually, our first 2 customers was in the US. Okay, we started selling in the US. Actually, we have currently we have an office in Los Angeles. We have customers in government, military, retail, banking areas. And our goal is to obviously to grow those customers, because that the United States is probably the biggest market in the world. So our idea is to scale, to get more customers and growth in the US and also over the world. So that's the plan.
So let me give you a few closing thoughts in here. Why is the Silicon Valley called the Silicon Valley? Well, among other things, because HP came, there was some really early manufacturing plant done 50 years ago. And it was really like a seed that was planted. Fast forward 50 years, just look around, it's amazing. And I think in Basque Country, I think, and I'm just an observer on this, and I work at Gartner and I see how things evolve. I'm Basque, so maybe, take it with a grain of salt. But I observed that there has been some very, very early security effort. Who knows why? But somehow there's been a lot of cybersecurity effort being done in Basque Country as early as 10, 15 years ago. And that has progressed. And by the same token, that it takes a long while to reach to where we are today, which is just a small step in what, hopefully I'm sure people would like this to become. The seed has been growing for a while already. And the fact that we see these companies that are so vibrant, these Basque companies coming and signing massive deals in the US, and big and promising US companies choosing Basque Country to go there, is really almost the POC, it's the proof of concept that there's something in there. And so as I'm observing this, I'm seeing a successful proof of concept. And I'll just leave it at this. I will thank you all the panelists here and all the organizers for the event. Thank you, everyone.